Hey guys, it's your boy Aijalonwallace back. Welcome back to the channel. I am the Nomad Recruiter. I travel around the world and run a recruitment agency. I teach people how to start a recruitment agency. If you're looking to get started, make sure you check out nomadrecruiters.com. Check out my free training and my free ebook. Today we're going to be talking about intake calls with hiring managers. Let's get straight into it. Hopefully this video won't be too long, but we're going to jump straight into it. Like some very important things, questions you need to be asking, things that you need to be looking out for. We're just going to go with it. We're just going to go with the flow and go from there. Okay, so look, when you do an intake call with a hiring manager for a new position, you want to make sure, you want to try to click off a lot of things and ask a lot of questions. So get your pen and papers and write this down. So definitely want to understand how many years should your candidate have at the end of the day, okay? Now, the reason you're asking this question is because you're trying to manage your expectations when you're doing your LinkedIn searches or you're reviewing resumes. You don't want to be looking at people with 1 or 2 years experience if the client has asked for a minimum of 5. So you do not want to be wasting your time presenting candidates under that 5-year minimum if they only have 1 or 2 years. Now, sometimes I do ask clients, hey, are you willing to bend the rules if someone has maybe 4 or 3 years, but they coming in at a lower budget or a lower salary? So that's sometimes I do ask those questions to see what the expectations are, but I do not want you going out here and sourcing for candidates and you're wasting your time because you did not ask this question or you didn't manage your expectations. What should the education experience be like? It's another question you want to ask. So with the education and experience, sometimes I've seen in the past when I look up a company on LinkedIn, a lot of their students usually come from 1 or 2 universities. So sometimes it saves me time and my sourcing ability to look up candidates that graduated from those universities because I know it's a higher chance that most likely the hiring manager will like to see a candidate from that university. But I always just try to make sure you manage your expectations on what type of degrees do they need to have. You know, you can ask for examples if you're looking for engineers, mechanical, if they're working in the tech space, or in sales, it'd probably be communication or electrical, you know, sales engineering, something like that. But you want to just make sure you're doing your research, what type of degrees that they should have as far as bachelor's or master's. And you want to also make sure what type of universities do the client want your candidates to come from top 10, top 25 schools? Do they want them to come from the top 5 IT schools, top 5 sales schools, Ivy League? So make sure you do your research on that when you are asking the clients what type of education or background you want them to come from, if it's important as well, depending on your space. At the end of the day, as you guys know, in the tech space, a lot of people are not really going to universities these days anymore. A lot of people are becoming self-taught. So we are seeing a lot of rules being a lot more flexibility as the older ways are starting to change as well. Another question I like to ask are, what are the essentials and good skills to have for the candidate? So sometimes, man, if I could be honest, we get a lot of job descriptions that's just full of BS. You know, it's just people are looking for unicorns. They're looking for a Superman. You know, like, whoa. You're not gonna find everything on that JD. You're just not gonna always find it. So I always ask, like, what's the most important? Give me your top 3 to 4 things that is a must-have before I present them in front of you, and what can be learned along the way as well. Because right now it is a candidate's market at the end of the day. So, you know, depending on the area that you're recruiting in or your niche, it can be difficult and challenging sometimes to find everything with all of those skills. So it's important you ask your client, what are you really looking for? And you write that down, you note it down in your database, in your recruitment pipeline when you are sourcing and interviewing candidates, okay? You know, another question you want to know is, like, what's the general ideal you know, about the team and the culture? You want to know what the company culture is like. Sometimes you're able to read a person's personality through the phone. When I interview candidates, you know, if a person tells me the company culture is young, is energetic, is vibrant, people are very expressive, and then you go to interview a candidate and their energy is just like, yeah, you know, it's like, yo, you're not going to be a good fit for the culture. And the thing about it, what I'm trying to help you understand, my goal is to save you guys time and money. I'm not going to waste your goddamn time. If you put somebody in this job and their energy is not there, maybe they got all the skills, you have a guarantee period usually with your clients. This is for the agency owners and recruiters that works for agencies, or just people who work in-house as well. But you have to understand that people have probation periods, people have guarantee periods. So if you are working in an agency house, you don't want to put someone in the job and you have a 30, 60-day guarantee and they get fired within the first week because they're just not getting along with people. They're not, company culture is extremely important these days, especially when it comes to just done at the end of the day. So you don't want to waste your time presenting people that do not match up with the company culture. If you don't feel that energy, I tell people all the time, recruitment is just like dating. You go on the first date and the energy is just so dry, you make sure it's 2 X's and you get your ass up out of there. So say when you're talking to a candidate on the phone, if they're responding really dry, they're not giving you much in-depth answers to your questions, in the conversation earlier, walk away. Do not waste your time trying to bring a candidate like that on at the end of the day. So it's extremely important as well. A lot of things I like to also ask is, what's the compensation structure? So the reason why that you want to know what the compensation structure is because you have to sell the role to candidates. And your ability of selling the role, you don't just want to sell the job and the title and the skills that come with it, but you want to be able to sell any other benefits. For example, let's just say you're hiring for a mid to senior level position and the salary is not really matching up to what mid, or just say matching up to what seniors get. Well, what could be more interesting? What are some other benefits that people may consider if the salary is not matching up? Maybe they're not getting that extra 20K that they want, but the job could potentially be offering a free gym membership, free food. It could be offering equity package, a bonus as well, a yearly bonus. So really add all of those things up when you're factoring in compensation, so it can help you on your end sell the role more to the candidate at the end of the day as well. Another thing that, when it comes to hiring managers, you want to know what the interview process is as well. This is extremely important that you get this question as soon as the interview starts. You want to know what the process is usually like. Is it 3-4 weeks? How many people are going to be conducting interviews with the hiring managers as well? A lot of people always assume. Remember, assume makes an ass out of you and me. Never assume in recruitment. Always be curious. Recruitment is all about curiosity. So you want to make sure when you're talking to these hiring managers, you want to know the interview process, okay? So you want to know if it's going to take 3 to 4 weeks. Are they going to be the only ones conducting the interview? And what's the process? Would it be a technical test? Would it be a test? Would it be a team meeting? Would it be a one-on-one with you and then a one-on-one with the CEO? What is everything the candidate's going to go to? And manage that expectations with your candidates as well, because you want to make sure that they're going to stick around for the interview process, being that they could potentially be interviewing with other jobs. So you need to manage your client's expectations and manage your candidate expectations as well, but make sure you stay on top of things for the interview process at the end of the day, okay? We have another one that I wrote down. So I wanted to mention this one as well. Another one that you really want to talk about or you want to ask is the position a new role or a refill, okay? So why do you want to know this? So the reason I want to know this is because when you're interviewing, when you're trying to refill a role, you want to know why the candidate left, okay? And sometimes it may be a promotion, or maybe someone that the client really liked. I've in the past have asked the client if I could see their resume or if I could look at their LinkedIn profile so I could try to find someone similar. I have done this in the past and it has helped me out in the past, but also it just helps me understand what's going on with the company. I always also ask as well, why are you hiring for this new position? The reason I'm asking why you're hiring, because I want to know if the company's going through a change. It could be a negative change, or it could be a positive change where this one job may lead to 10 or 20 more roles as well. So besides just asking about this one, I want to make sure I find out about all the other jobs as well, if there's potential opportunity there. Use your past experience to inform hiring managers of all the above issues when it just comes to like manager expectations. Now, it can be challenging sometimes because a lot of recruiters do not get to talk directly to hiring managers. Sometimes your relationship may be only directly with HR, and then they may be, communicating to hiring manager, everything. It may be an in-between person, kind of like your relationship with your candidate. It is always good, and it just always saves you time if you could talk directly to the hiring manager at the end of the day. But everyone doesn't always get, those opportunities to talk directly to the hiring manager. So it's just really important that you you manage your expectations with HR, with the hiring managers, and then it's just the relationship overall as well. I always try to understand as well when you're doing an intake call with a client. Like I said, it's just extremely important to understand, like, what's a red flag and what's a green flag. And when you're working with clients, sometimes, like I said, some salaries don't match up to the job expectations. So sometimes you need to set those expectations for clients. You need to let them know, like, hey, this is not what the market is paying right now. I'm sure you know that. Is there any way that you can increase the budget? What could we do to really try to, sell this role? And sometimes I always ask the client as well, why would someone want to work for your organization? Because I know how I'm going to pitch it to a candidate, but maybe the client could pitch it even better. Maybe they can let us know if there's progression there, if there's opportunity, if it's going to be a remote. Try to understand and get as much details as you can out of the job at the end of the day. And it's extremely important that you have a really strong communication connection with your clients. If you're working with a client and they're coming back to you every 3-4 days while you're representing the candidate, it's really a red flag, and it's probably not the client that you want to work with, because it's only wasting your time and energy. You got to understand that recruitment is about time. So if you put someone through an interview process and your client is taking 2-3 days to get back to you, this is a red flag, and this is a sign that you most likely, one or two things going to happen. Your client is probably going to keep wasting your time, or your candidate is going to take another opportunity, because they're not only going to be interviewing at your client's company as well. So you need to just make sure you're on top of those things when you are taking your intake calls at the end of the day. I cannot stress this enough. I always try to also understand. I try to understand more about the team as well. I try to understand about upskills, certificates, any conferences, technology as well. Is your candidate, are they going to receive like a new laptop, new software tools, and new gear? It's so many things that can make the role so exciting. And you, as an agency recruiter, as an agency owner, you want to make sure as well you're protecting your bag, you're protecting your money at the end of the day, because we offer a guarantee period. If you don't know what a guarantee is, when recruiter offers a client and guarantees a client that the candidate is going to stay in that role for 30, 60, 90 days. I've even seen 6 months in the past, but it's kind of rare. I don't advise you doing 6 months guarantees, because recruitment is about control, and we cannot control the outcome of somebody that works at the organization for more than really 90 days, but more than 6 months is pushing it, because so much can happen in between that time at the end of the day. So while you're going through all this, guys, just stay consistent. Make sure you're logging all of this information in your recruitment pipeline, everything from the intake call, from the process of interacting with your candidates to your clients, and make sure you're following up as well consistently with your client from the day one. After your intake call, once you send a resumes, you want to follow up with your client. You want to check in to see how the interview was. You want to follow up with your candidate, see how the interview was. And you want to be consistent on being on the phones with your client to try to get the deal to go through fast. The job is about urgency, and understanding that, like I said, it's so competitive out here. I just don't want you to miss out on opportunities and lose that sense of urgency when you are recruiting for a candidate and you're working with a client. Listen, if you like this content, I need you to hit that like button. I need you to subscribe to the channel, support your boy. I'm trying to eat out here. I'm trying to make more videos for you to help you be a better recruiter, to be the best of the best in your niche. It is very important going into the year 2023. You got to go hard or go home. Do not get in this game if you don't want to be the best or you don't want to be number one, okay? Listen, I can't wait to see you guys soon. I appreciate you so much. Thanks for supporting the channel again. I appreciate it, guys.